Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn. I will welcome you to basically our weekly edition of How to Make Money Trading Stocks weekly live stream. We are streaming live on YouTube. And so just joining us is Steve Ferreira from the here in Hawaii. And Steve's got a really great stock to show you. And I want to show you a connection between, Steve didn't know this, but I'm going to show a connection between the watch list that I put out for members of Active Trend Trading every week. The stock you chose today, Steve, hit my list the first part of last week. That's pretty cool. And so we will.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of went, whoa, look at that. And I was actually looking at it for a potential setup. And but anyway, we'll get over there and we'll start talking about that shortly. Want to remind everybody again, hey, my wife is reading an absolutely phenomenal book. And I think I'm looking for how to make it a connection with the book into, into our trading. But she's reading a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits before, but it talks about how our habits, both good and bad, shape our decisions, shape our ability to what we do in almost every area of life. So it's one of the things to just remember. But Trading Composure, a guy who tweets a lot about what's going on with the market. He's really got some really wise statements occasionally. And I like this one here. Bad habits are easy to form and difficult to get rid of. At all times, be discerning and wary of what you are rehearsing. In other words, if you're rehearsing bad habits when you're trying to trade, guess what? You're going to have bad trades. And so one of the things is make it a consistent effort to rehearse good habits. Your trading will get a lot better. And so if you're having challenges in 2019, do some evaluation over the next 3 weeks to say, hey, what's going on? How can I make it better? What habits need to go away? And what habits need to stay? And then work on it from there. So remember, all the materials we do present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or promise of future performance. As we approach the second week in December, we do have to be mindful that the Fed meets next week. Will the Fed decision, it's like a 96% chance that there will be no change to the current rates. As we saw today, the employment numbers blew away the expectations by over about 100,000 jobs. And so one of the things I was kind of pondering in my mind, and Steve, you might want to chime in on this. I was pondering in my mind, okay, clearly the House and the Senate Democrats are clearly focused on doing one thing, impeaching President Trump. Now, I'm not going to say whether I think that's good or bad, but what I will say is, do you think the market likes it when basically the House and Senate is actually doing nothing? In other words, as long as they're focused on this impeachment thing, nothing's really, the business of the people is not getting done. Therefore, there's nothing happening to impact the market. Therefore, the market's kind of free to move how it wants to. I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
I'm not sure I really understand what's going on that way. I basically agree with you. I think, but I think the market has been this way for a while. I think Congress has been dysfunctional for quite some time, and I think the impeachment focus is a little bit. I like you. I won't say where I stand on that issue, but I think it's really a non-issue because so many Republicans have to cross the line. And even if they're strong grounds for impeachment, I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
And I think the market's anticipating that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the market is just kind of like going on and doing its own thing. And so
Right.
now we'll see what happens. I think it may continue to do its own thing all the way up until the election of 2020. So we'll see.
Right.
Anyway, like I
Right.
said, I'm not going to diverge that much because we've got a lot of stuff to cover, short time to do it. Stocks, ETF performance, we'll be talking about any bonus setups. Steve, I got to say that I really commend you on the stocks you've been choosing for our weekly webinar. And I want to encourage you to continue doing it. I've been
Sure.
kind of tracking things, have been doing really well. I like your choice for today, and I want to remind everybody, here's where we are. We're in the last month of the year. Normally, after the Fed, the market will get a little bit of a bump. That is what seasonality tells us. Will we really get a bump? We'll see. I would like to see, depending on the stock you're in, and also depending on the ETF, the index that you're in and trading, will determine how well we perform over the last 3 weeks of the month, which normally tends to be a Santa Claus rally type of a period. The indexes themselves tend to run up about 3.5 to 5% in that last 2.5 to 3 weeks of the market. So we'll be keeping our eyeball on that. Here's where we're sitting as of, we're up about 32% for the year, active trend trading. Here's how the indexes are doing. And there's 16 more trading days in 2019. I don't count the days till Christmas. I count the days until the end of the trading season because, why do I do that? Because I'm a trader. Here's another item that we put out on a weekly basis. If you are a subscribing member, not a premium member, just a subscriber to our mailing list, you can get this list of stocks that we provide on a weekly basis. It's the Power Rank stocks. I rank them, 1 through 15. Usually I have somewhere between 15, actually between 10 and 20 stocks on this list. Watch this list. Again, it's free with a free membership. And watch this list because what's going to be happening next year is we're going to have a slight modification in our membership where we will have an entry-level membership that's going to focus just on trading the top 5 of this list on a weekly basis. And there's what I wanted to show you, Steve. INMD showed up as, number 4 on the list. But actually, it was in a tie for second place with all these other entities, BABA, ESNT, IND, IMMD. And so there it is. It's, showed up it's got a real high power ranking. I really like it going forward. But let's take a look at the indexes to see what's going on with them. And I'll go here to the daily, weekly. The weekly is on the left, the daily is on the right. As you'll see here, let me blow this up a little bit. I was doing some analysis a little bit earlier today, but last Saturday, as I was posting the recording from, we didn't do a live session last week, but I just did a recording for the How to Make Money Trading Stocks, Options, ETFs. We were right here. And I said, if you get a pullback back into the midsection between the 20 and the 50-day moving average, that may give you an opportunity to jump into a trade. Now, as you can see, we did not get an orderly pullback, but we just got a big sell-off on Monday, right there, followed by another big sell-off falling down in between those levels again on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, of course, we're getting a nice rally right back into what? Resistance. Now, if we bust through, if we bust through the resistance, that's great. We're probably going to go up from where we are. I would give you a target of, let's see, I'm sitting at, it hit a low here at 307, get a high here at 315, 450. So it's about $8. From a technical standpoint, you're looking at a potential upside target prior to the end of the year of 8 plus 15, 315, puts you up about 323, definitely within reach. The momentum indicator TSI is turning around on a daily chart. That's usually an indication that we are going to push higher. At the same time, while I'm telling you that, what we've got going on the weekly chart is we have a hanging man type of formation, candlestick formation after we did the nice little bounce up. Hanging man is a bearish indication or bearish reversal signal. So that's what we're looking at on the SPY, the spiders. NASDAQ as represented by the Qs, as we can see, again, pulled all the way back to the 20-week moving average, which equated to just below the 50-day moving average over here, bounced up, actually got a more, a higher, more significant sell-off on Tuesday. And of course, I was traveling. I jumped on an airplane on Tuesday. We launched out of Memphis at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got to LA at about 8:30, waited for 9 hours, got the flight from Hawaii. So I was absolutely bushed, but real huge move. And a typical move that I've come to expect whenever I'm traveling is we'll get something like this, a big washout type move, which could have led to a possible upside trade. But I was in an airplane, no trading while I'm doing that. But again, it pulled back into between the 20 and the 50, reclaimed the 50, and has now moved back up. Notice, however, that while it is picking up steam, which is good, it is not as, has not been as strong as the S&P. As we can see, we're not pushing up quite back up to the levels at the S&P, which was equal to just about what the past highs were. And last but not least, and then we'll get over we'll kick it over to Steve for his trade of the week, is IWM. IWM's looking kind of interesting pattern today. We pushed up, we made a new high for the year, not a new high for past years, but we need a new high for the year today. However, what is that particular pattern? That is a shooting star type pattern. So we have basically mixed signals, shooting star, bearish, at resistance of the Keltner channels, TSI crossover prior to the zero line. That's a bullish signal. Nothing over here on the weekly chart saying that, hey, we're ready to flip over and fall. However, that is a weekly hanging man, which is what it is. It's a hammer, but it's a hammer at the end of an uptrend. Hanging man, which is also a bearish reversal signal. But right now, we're programmed, looks like we're programmed to continue higher. I would adjust this. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjust this trend line and basically try to adjust it. There we go. I'm going to adjust this trend line where it actually picks up this last low here. It's a little bit more shallow of a trend line, but anticipating a pullback again, back into the 820, maybe a dropping, but in this zone right here. And that's what I'm looking at. Nothing to do right now. Although we could consider this push up to the new high with the TSI sticking right there as negative divergence on a daily chart. So we can get a stronger pullback. Going into the week and looking at this being Fed week, look for intraday pullbacks down into about the 161 to 160 level. Might provide a setup going into the week. So that's what I've got, Steve. Let me jump over here to.
Can you leave it on IWM? Can you leave it there for a bit?
Say again, over?
Yeah, stay on the IWM.
Okay.
What I think is significant, particularly with today's action, is we've gapped above the down bar from 4 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah, If we can close, if we stay closed above that, I think it's a very significant gap and bodes very bullish for the market.
Okay.
And
So
that's
in other
just
words,
an opinion, yeah.
so if it stays above the high of the
Of
down,
that bar,
the
if it
strong bar
closes
day,
above
okay.
there, right?
So that
It's
put the high that day is 162.21.
right.
Yeah.
If we close above that, I think it's a very significant move today. And I like the fact that many people are calling for, we need a need for a significant reaction to the current move to the upside. There's a bit of
Yeah.
negativity in the air, and I think that's also from a contrarian perspective, from a sentiment perspective, I think it's very bullish for the market. But that's just an opinion. Market action is really what counts there.
And what I'll highlight here, Steve, to kind of correspond with what you were talking about is look what's happening is since we've got this rebound back in the October timeframe, where are we finding support? We're finding support at either the 8-day, we found support there, 8-day there, 8-day there, or the 20. We found support there at the 20. And so whenever, when we look back in the past, just be aware that, when that patterns tend to repeat themselves. And so be patient, wait for it. And what I did here is I drew this I'm trying to emulate, there we go. That's a better emulation of the current trajectory of the 8-period moving average. And believe it or not, I do believe it, on Monday of next week, it would basically, or actually, when is it? There we go. On about Tuesday, 12/10, which I think is Tuesday. Yep. Is when the price action would transect that high there at 162. So I think it gives you a nice little box to shoot at for planning a future trade.
Right.
So let me, okay, you ready? I'm gonna flip over to INMD.
Okay.
Now I've got, this, one thing I noticed is this is a newer entity, yes?
Yes, it's a new issue, relatively new issue. And the good thing about it is we're trading into new high ground. That's very bullish. And given my inclination, or I lean toward being bullish overall in the market, I think trading pullbacks has been fairly successful this whole year, really. We're at the weekly chart, we're near new high ground. We've pulled back about 10 days ago was a pullback, and then recently pulled back to test that low from about 10 days ago.
Okay.
And it looks successful. Yesterday is what I call a reversal bar, and then we gapped above that high from yesterday. And what I did to enter is, if you go to a 5-minute chart, and I'm not a day trader, but I used a day trading setup for an entry today, and I can show you that on a 5-minute chart. And so there was a price action overnight that suggested bullish, that we have a higher open. So this is a 5, okay. If you use the opening bar, so we were up a little bit overnight, and then the opening bar was a negative bar, was a down bar for the first 5 minutes.
Yep, that one right there.
Yeah. So
hold on a second. Let me get this. Hold on, Steve. Just let me get this blown up a little bit. There we go. One more.
Right, one more. Okay. So the high of that opening 5-minute bar was the long entry when that high got taken out.
So right there.
Right.
Okay.
So 45 points higher, 45.22.
Okay.
It's an actual trade. It was my long entry. And I like the weakness coming into the market right now. If you're not already in right now, immediately, the next few minutes, I think would be a nice entry.
Okay. 1 second. I'm going to draw. I want to draw something in here. If I can. There we go.
Right. There you go.
Now you got to trigger to 45.22.
Correct.
I'm going to highlight that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's a great trigger. And as Steve says, if you're not in this right now, you could be, it's in a position where now if you got in here, where's your stop, Steve?
It'd be under yesterday's low.
Okay. So
40,
I've got to spread
that's
this back out again.
43.82.
So as you can see, that's a very low, so below yesterday's low.
Right.
There we go, 43.82. You can go on a nickel below. It looks like about a,
Good.
no, sorry.
Yeah, nickel below.
Okay. Seeing that. Below yesterday's low.
Correct.
So that's 41.15.
Did I have 43.82 that maybe I missed something.
Okay, not a problem. But what I wanted to take a look at to add in a.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's 41. I made a mistake. It should have been 41.30 some, I think.
Okay. Let me go to just a little slightly higher time frames chart here.
41.15. So 41.10 is the trade.
Okay.
Is the stop loss. Yeah.
And so that's I'm going to go to an hour chart here. And here's what's really I always have a lot of fun looking at this because there's always so many clues. I really like what you've done here, Steve, and we're not going to go on much further, but here's where you entered 45.22, which was on a breakup out of this area here.
Right.
Cool. So what I'd be looking for, of course, is a pullback towards the towards the 8-period moving average here. The 8-period moving, well, either that, or I could just sit here and say, hey, I'm above the 50-period moving average on a 1 hour chart. That equates to, guess what? That equates to the 8-day moving average. And so very not unusual for us to get a little bit of a pullback. And so again, for me, I would be waiting for my, TSI looks like it wants to roll back over. Let it roll back over. Let it come back down into these areas, anywhere from, I got a little window here for, and one of another ways you could do this order is you got it 45.22. If we hold that, go ahead and get in. But worst case, let me take let's see, I think, yeah, we said your stop is down there. You got in here. Yeah, so it's a little bit over about a 9%, run on it. And so, but yeah, that looks absolutely awesome. The other thing, if any kind of, I'm looking at this very positive. The 8 is above the 20, which is above the 50, all very positive. So any kind of a retracement in there, again, if you come in and put in this entity, INMD, I would be looking for, let me show you the pattern that I would be looking for. Again, just as an idea, is intraday. See that little pattern right there? That's a nice little pullback to the 8-period moving average and then a rebound. So a pullback. Now it doesn't mean the 8-period may get up here. So you could literally go in there and say, okay, hey, if I can get in here at 45.78 or a little bit of a pullback, wait for something to happen, that works too. So I like it.
Good.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
So now INMD, when I was researching it over the last night, it has no options, but it's a fairly inexpensive stock, and so you could and just be aware this run from right here, the last time it came down here to the 42-45 level, when it went on this run from here up is in a very short period of time. This is an hourly chart. So so just from here up to here, guess what? That's 31%. So keep your eyeball on this one, guys. It's got some potential. And plan your trade entry as appropriate. Okay, let's go back and just wrap up the rest of the assets. And so again, restructure our membership is coming. Okay, I was trying to get it out before Thanksgiving, but unfortunately, I had to take care of some family issues back in Arkansas. But we will be having a special offer prior to Christmas. And you need a speaker for your group, hey, give us a buzz and we'll customize a meeting for you via webinar. Monthly Barry and Moneymaker meeting webinar tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the morning, California time, 3 profitable actions which lead to greater profit consistency. And then the monthly Honolulu IBD meetup on December 10th at 6:30 in the evening. Steve basically, guides and leads that. I'll be piping in on some option opportunities, and then some other things that we have coming on. If you are looking for I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this trade journal, but please go take a look at it. You can now, Amazon has now upgraded our site, and you can actually look inside the manual to see how it's made up. Currently, Brandon is running a little bit of a Christmas discount. So it has 160 pages for trading journals. Comes in a mini version and a larger version. The larger version is 8.5 by 11. This one is about 6 by 9. And everybody I know that has used it has saying it's really, really great. So again, we're looking for a strong finish and a strong start to 2020. Please take time over the next few weeks to, prior to the end of the year, evaluate and assess how you did for 2019. Identify the areas where you need to make some changes to how you operate, and that's all right, and start those new habits. If you are joining us via YouTube, please do me a favor. Basically, and I'm going to roll this over here, is basically follow us on YouTube. And if you want updates on when we're going to be going live and broadcasting, please click here on the bell and it will also send you notifications. So again, like us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube. This is Market Tech Talk, and then click the bell and you will be notified whenever anything new is posted to the site. So until next time, keep the egg growing, trade wisely, trade profitably. And for premium members, we'll be back at the top of the hour for the final hour. I've got a couple. We're going to talk about Adobe, Boeing, Tesla, Amazon, FDX, MU, and we may also throw in that INMD that Steve was just talking about. So, Steve, thanks for joining me, and I really appreciate all the power you bring to the session.
Thank you, Dennis.
And so, until later, guys. Aloha, trade well and prosper. Have a great weekend. Mahalo. God bless everybody. Aloha.